Hello guys, welcome back to another video in the React.js series. In this video, we are going to discuss about how to set up mock API for our application development. Of course, this video is not actually the part of a React library or something. Here we are going to set up API. Since we are learning about React, it is always mandatory to know how to integrate your backend API into the frontend application. For that, I am not going to develop any backend, so I am using free source, which is mockapi.io. Once you visit this website, create one account. The account is free. For the free account, you can create one project. So let's go ahead and do that. This is how your screen should look like at the time once you log into that website. Click on this plus. That will eventually let you create new project. So let's create the project. I just call it as API because it's API, right? So just call it as API. And click on create. The project is created. Keep in mind only one project is free. Apart from that you have to pay. I think one project is enough. So let me click on that project. Here is the endpoint. Now I need to create the resources. So click on resource. I call this one as v1 and this is the default field. This ID field is created and maintained by mock API itself. We don't have to do anything even for the value. By default, they come up with created at name and then avatar. If you don't want anything, you can just remove. That's it. If you want any field, you can click on this add field, type the name, let's say example name. If you wanted to generate that name field value based on any of this detail, you can select anything. They will be using faker.js to create those kind of data. Let's say example, I wanted to generate name. So they are asking what kind of name you want. So you can select anything. So name.full name. If I select, the data for this field is automatically generated. If you don't want anything, you can just select this to string, number, array or whatever the type that you're expecting. I'm expecting it to be string. So let it be the string and that's it, nothing apart from that. Because I'm going to do one very small example with the API request. So I think this should be fine for starting up with the API integration. So that's it from my side for setting up the project. Now I can click on create. Before clicking on create, we just have to know what are all the endpoint that it supports. It supports get, post, put, delete and then get by ID. So it almost support everything. So we can use it, shouldn't be a problem. Let me click on create. This will create the resources, but it doesn't have any data. You can see I'm having 0 here, which means that the resource doesn't have any data. If I click on data button, you can see it is empty as we expected. Now what I do is let's try to create some 25 record. If you can see, if I mouse over, you can see some number. So 25, let me click on 25. You got to see that the data is generated in the bottom. Now if I click on data, you could see the data has been generated automatically. This is how mock API website work. Now this clearly tells that I can able to send dummy request to this mock API. Of course, whatever the data that you are sending, that will by default persist into the database. Maximum you can add up to 100 record, not more than that. I think this should be fine. What we can do is in the next video, we are going to set up the React project so that I can send request from React application to this mock API, and then let's do how you can send the data. I'll be preparing one endpoint, let's say example post for a video, edit for a video and something like that, so it become easy for you guys to understand and proceed further with the development. Now that's all for this video. That's it. We will learn more in the next video. Till then, bye. Take care.